Hey, it's time to cleanse our palate from that unpleasantness and talk some Orville. How's it going?
It is going. Mecca, how are you doing?
I love the Orville. It was so good. I love talking about it.
We all love the Orville.
Even at worst, it's a hell of a lot better than any of the best of STD, that's for sure.
Yes. So this is what, episode 6, 7? How many is this?
7, I think we're on. Yep, 7.
7. Yes. Called Deflectors. Oh, man. And so it starts out, Cassius and Kelly are chilling on the environmental simulator. Oh, it's a holodeck. It's a holodeck. Please, can we just call it a holodeck? It's a holodeck. It's
for legal reasons.
For legal. Yes, has to be 25% different. No, we don't know. But
see, I can forgive it because it's in its own universe.
Yeah.
It's so closer to Star Trek than STD.
That's right. And this episode, it actually became Star Trek. It really did. I'm not making that up. This is the episode where, you know how people would talk about our current president and say, "Oh, tonight he became the president," like, and they kept saying, "No, this it's Star Trek. This is Star Trek. This is the
well, it kind of did though last season with About a Girl.
Yeah.
Though.
Oh, this, and it keeps proving why it's the reigning champ.
I say it did that a long time ago, Rob. I don't know about that.
Well, I had a moment there, Tom. Don't step on my bit. So that's okay. So anyway, the episode opens. Cassius and Kelly are sitting on the holodeck. They're in a little cafe. It's VJ Day. This is a kid with a newspaper. How do I know that? Because this kid was a newspaper. Extra, extra, read all about it. Japanese surrender in Pacific. Extra, extra. So it's VJ Day. And they're talking. This is about how, they say, how, well, you know, Cassius wants to pursue a relationship even further, take it to the next level. They need to go away. Kelly says, "Oh, I can't just, take off my job. You're just a school teacher." Oh, okay. And you think what I do? There's a big tiff about how they don't. That Kelly doesn't think Cassius's job is as important as hers, and so they more or less break up. When you say they break up.
She dumped him.
She dumps him, yeah. So Cassius and Kelly gets called to the bridge, and the Mocklins, they're approaching Mocklin. Mocklins meet up with him. Okay, cut to the intro, and there's actually, I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm getting this out of order. We meet the Mocklin scientist, Lokar, and this commanding officer. And it turns out the Mocklin scientist, Lokar, has a history with Bortus.
They used to date. That was kind of cute.
Yeah. So yeah, they yes, they used to date. Do Mocklins date? I don't know what they call it. What do the Mocklins call it? Well, anyway.
Well, he says he's equivalent of what you would call your
ex.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, they're revamping the deflectors on the Orville with Mocklin technology. And so they put it through a test. Malloy's don't get too, hey Malloy, don't get too they have to hit us, All right, yes sir, dumbing it down. That was good. Dumbing it down. So there's a big thing. The shields are buckling, and the Lokar, no, they will regenerate. And they're about to cut the test short, and they regenerated. So success, and all the while you see Lokar. He's looking at Tala, the new security officer, Jessica Zor. He's kind of looking at Tala and actually we did in this scene we see Dan again. Dan,
and cupcakes.
Dan likes cupcakes, and at first Lokar does not. Yeah. At first, Lokar does not want a cupcake. Then afterwards, after success, I will have a cupcake. So, and that wasn't that the girl Lamar was dating?
It might have been, or it might have just been like a random like crew member girl.
I could have swore that was the girl Lamar was dating. Well, anyway. So anyway, after the test, we cut to we go to the mess hall, and Jessica Zor is. Am I saying something out of order?
So do you need a synopsis?
Yeah, I kind of need a synopsis because I remember all the details, but I'm not sure if I'm remembering them in the right order.
Yeah, I'll
but it was
real quick.
Yeah, I only had a chance to watch it once.
I will say up front, again, not to be the detractor in the group while you're getting a synopsis. At first, I was like, oh, no, not another Mocklin episode.
I love the Mocklins.
I do, but it's like been too many in a row.
And too many love stories in a row, too.
Yes, but it played out well. It was a great episode in the end. I mean, I'll get to all that later, but it was at first, I'm like, oh, no, not another one. I did actually kind of say that to myself, so.
Okay, so I kind of have a synopsis. I kind of have a synopsis here. Oh, no, there's a embedded video. Oh, no. So, okay, all right. So, in the quarters, actually, Bortus is talking with Clyden and Topa about Lokar. Bortus is very closed off about Lokar. Clyden is open to discussing his presence. Okay, yeah, they're trying to pass out. And then Lokar shows up, and Clyden, not wanting to be rude, invites Lokar to have dinner. Clyden asks Lokar if he has a mate of his own. Lokar says he's too busy with work. So they're eating, and Lokar tells Bortus he hopes they can be friends now because they used to be an item. So, and on the bridge, everybody wants to know Bortus and Lokar's history. Bortus says that rather than stab each other when they break up, it is a Mocklin custom to exchange teeth. I thought that was good. So, and actually, yeah, and Malloy says, "Okay, do you
I love that.
give the tooth? Do you give the tooth to your new partner?" Yes. I'm getting good at this stuff.
Not only that, the party goes, and let me guess, do they eat it?
Yes. Yeah.
You're good at this. Yeah.
So okay, yeah. So the ship's upgrades, blah blah blah. We covered that. Later on, Kelly tells Ed that she broke up with Cassius, and before they can talk too much, Bortus and Tala come in and tell them the upgrade is finalized and it's going to be ready in 48 hours. Tala goes back to her quarters, and who's waiting for Tala? Lokar. I like that name, Lokar.
I remember that being a name of like the locust on Space Ghost. Not Zorak, but the big giant kind of locust thing. Let me find a picture.
Moltar.
No, Lokar. There was another one. There was Moltar, Lokar, Tanzit. God, there was a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, anyway, Brack. Anyway, so Lokar is there for a reason. She's surprised. Lokar's there for a reason. And what's the reason?
He wants to get it on.
He wants to get buck wild with Tala. And it turns out that not all Mocklins are well, you really can't call them gay if it's single species, can you?
No, it's their normal. So
that way though, that's kind of the whole thing, and they do bring it up at that point later on when we get to it. But yeah, he basically confesses what would be the equivalent though of being gay in his culture, probably, to where he's attracted to feminine species.
Forget it, he's gay.
Yeah. So anyway. He said, "Have I made you uncomfortable?" And no, no, no. And they took a walk, and it turns out that Tala actually wants. She's intrigued by this turn of events.
Well, they bond over
So
the fact that both of them are kind of misunderstood because, he brings up, oh, it must be tough for you two on your planet, being that you're in. I just wanted to call it Starfleet. Jesus Christ!
But yeah, but they have. But there's actually this great moment where Tala and Malloy and there's a great moment. Tala, Malloy, Gordon, and Isaac, and Claire Isaac and Claire had the most stable relationship. And there's a point where actually they said Isaac was going around asking what was the best sexual position. I wanted to make our coital experiences more pleasurable for her. Just
because the answer was not to discuss their relationship.
Yeah. But anyway, she starts to realize, hey, maybe I should be a little bit more open-minded about this. And so she goes and she finds Lokar, and then it kind of lets it out that if you're attracted to women in the Moclan culture, you are an outcast.
Yeah, it's like super taboo, super like
a bit of a stretch, but it does play into their culture as far as we've seen, and like I said, that'll play into a point later.
Yeah. And so actually, and she has not a bit of a secret, but she's also an outcast because Selanes don't usually serve in the Yeah. So they go for a walk, they go to the holodeck, and there's actually a funny moment with the little girl. He goes, and so there's Lokar sees a couple dancing in the silhouette. He goes, "What are they doing?" They're dancing. So she's teaching them how to dance, and so who plants the kiss on does he plants the kiss on her, or she plants the kiss on him?
Her, yes, because she tells him to leave.
Yeah. And so, but all the while, we're tipped off that someone knows about their little rendezvous. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
And so Tala gets called away to the bridge, and a door opens, and who is it? Come on, you guys! You got to. It's
I don't remember.
It's Bortus's husband.
Oh, that's right.
It's Clyden.
Clyden, yeah.
Yes. And what happens? He zaps him.
Not necessarily, but yeah, we don't see what happens yet.
We really don't see what happens.
But yeah, she comes back and he's gone.
He's gone, yes. So, yes, and so they replay the thing.
Ship, and
she replays the log, and it's distorted.
Yeah, and then you can't see who comes in. So Malloy and who's the other one?
It's Lamar and Isaac.
Oh, it was Lamar and Isaac. Yeah, not Malloy. Lamar and Isaac look at the video, and they try to enhance it and see if they can figure out what's going on. And they do, and lo and behold, it is Clyden. And there's where we see he shot him, and so they think that Clyden killed him. So they capture Clyden, but it doesn't seem to add up. So she continues to investigate. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, so you need to investigate. Like I said, it doesn't add up because they found it too easily. They found the evidence too easily because, like I said, and they figure that somebody wanted that to be found. And they had said that she had said that if, and she was actually talking to Bortus, and they're holding Clyde in the brig. And so she's talking to Bortus, and they say about how, it's their people's customs that are the reason why they were able to survive in such a harsh climate. And she said, "Oh, if I grew up on Moclus, I would kill myself." And Bortus says that it is, if you had killed yourself, then not only would you feel great dishonor, your family would feel this great dishonor. They would be shunned from society. And so she puts two and two together. That, hey, you know what? Something's not adding up. So she puts two and two together, and they conduct a search. And so they conduct a compartment by compartment search, and they're searching the Orville and finds out that he has used the shuttle's cloaking device to cloak himself.
Right. Well, just jump back a little bit because that was where I was going to make my point. When she's talking to Bortus, she basically, she's trying to figure out this whole situation of why it's such a taboo on the planet, and what would happen if, it would be found out that he was attracted to women. And Bortus basically tells her flat out, they would, it would destroy not only him, but his family. And, she's like, well, you should understand his, plight because of, your son/daughter and what she went through. And he gets all at her. And that's where I said this is all kind of calling back and kind of it all is kind of making sense to where it's like, okay, so this is obviously an issue that's come up more than once on their planet, and it's becoming an issue, and we can see this is going to continue to play out throughout. I just wish they would space it out a little more. But yeah, I like that she made that point, and of course Bortus got really upset about that because he probably does understand, a little bit from that perspective as far as, he may not be attracted to women, but he's sympathetic, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is I like that scene in the conference room with Lokar's commanding officer, and like I said, she says she's actually questioning the Moclan culture, and Mercer says, Lieutenant, leave the room. I'll have a word with you in a minute. And so not dismisses her, but anyway, like I said, so they're feeling together. And actually part of this reminded me of the Star Trek episode Court Martial with Ben Finney, how he faked his death on the Enterprise. I don't know if you remember that one.
I think so, but I did not know this until Joker's just brought it up that Bruce Willis was the flower.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
I didn't notice. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, that was one of the presents that Cassius kept trying to send Kelly.
Yeah, that's part that we kind of skated over was the obsessiveness of Kelly's ex-boyfriend going on in the background of the B plot.
Yeah, that was a running B plot. Yeah. So anyway, they find Lokar, and they say, there's a big heart-to-heart moment, and Lokar, she says to him, you could request asylum, and he's like, no, I'm not going to run. I'm going to go back to Moclus, and I'm going to face my face judgment for this. And so it ends with Clyden being a free man, with Lokar having to face a tribunal or a judge, and there's a scene at the end where Tala and Clyden they're talking to each other, and I owe you I'm a free man because of you. Owe you a debt? And Clyden was going to be the one that was going to rat him out. That's the thing. Clyden was going to rat him out, and that was going to destroy him. And it was because of him that things sort of spiraled out of control. And so, how can I thank you? If you want to thank me, you could stay away from me. When you see me in the corridor, you go the other way, because you couldn't let people be who they are. As far as I'm concerned, you can go straight to hell, And this is an episode that did not have a happy ending for anybody.
No, it was really bittersweet. It reminded me of the episode of Next Generation where Loaxana Troy was dating David and Ogden Steyer's character.
Yes.
Yeah, and he ended up having to kill himself because of his culture. That's the end of the that made Star Trek.
Yeah, because I was kind of like, like I said, I was kind of meh through the first part, but the last half really saved it for me, which is. It's good because the last few episodes here have been really kind of getting to the point with Orville where I'm like, yeah, I like it, but it's playing a little too much with the relationship stuff. You know, at least this is a little bit more on the cultural side as far as, like I said, you can see this is going to play out longer down the road because we've already seen Mercer and his issues with their culture. We already know that Bortus has issues with the culture. You know, here's another situation where the culture was brought up yet again. Just last week they had a big, was it last week or the week before? Or not last week because it wasn't on last week, but the last episode, I mean, where they had the situation. Was that the one where Clyde stabbed Bortus, or was that the one before? I can't
That was
remember.
like the second episode. That was like the second or third episode.
They've had so many now that are revolved around Bortus and Clyde, and that I'm kind of starting to meld them together. That's the problem. But I guess if they're playing out the storyline quickly and getting it out of the way, fine. But I think it would have been better to space it out a little bit more. But I like how they're getting more back into the whole cultural thing about, you know, how they obviously are playing this up like it's obviously a play on how gay culture was seen years ago in America and other places, you know, or even if you look at it,
how it's still seen today in many parts of the world too.
Right. That's what I was saying. In some countries where it's even to an extreme where it's like, you know, it is a punishable by death offense kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The name of the episode with David Ogden Stiers is called Half a Life.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was actually very sad because, you know, like I said, Loxana is trying to teach him, you know, the value of life, and like, no, it's, you know, we value life because it ends prematurely in my culture, but that episode's a real tearjerker. It really is. Some people hate Loxana Troy, played by Major Barra. I used to like when she would show up on TNG. Because she had such a vibrant personality, and she would always chase after Picard. Jean-Luc! What was that?
I always liked her. I never had a problem with her.
Oh yeah, and she plays the voice of the computer.
She was a little annoying, but they really humanized her in a few episodes. Like there's one where she's stuck in a turbo lift with Odo on Deep Space Nine. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones with her.
Yes. Yes, like I said, but she just shows up at certain moments, so it's not to wear out her welcome. But yes, but like I said, this is actually very good. And like I said, and it deals with the social issue, but it doesn't beat you over the head with it. That's the other thing. It's making a social
part of the plot, yeah.
Yeah, it makes a social commentary, but unlike other things where they tell you you're stupid, you're evil if you don't think the way we do, they're actually presenting it in a way so they'd say, hey, you know, I saw that on the Orville Day. Oh, you know, it's actually very thought provoking, and this is where you say Seth MacFarlane, man, he gets it. He really does. He absolutely gets it. He knows that you're not going, if you're going to, I don't want to change people's perceptions, but if you're going to have these kinds of conversations, that you got to have people come to these topics themselves. You can't put it in their face and just like, you know, like you're shoving a dog's nose in their poop, you know, bad dog, you know.
It doesn't come across preachy.
Yeah, because all the dog learns is I shouldn't put my nose in that. The same thing with with these kind of topics. Yeah, yeah. And someone actually brought up in the chat there, Mockless, excessive pollution, industrialization, military testing. We saw all of that. Yeah, and there's an environmental theme there. Like I said, Mockless it's what happens when they have ravaged their planet with industrialization. But and like I said, it's well, okay, well, I've monopolized the conversation a bit.
Well, I want to kind of elaborate on that though. That you're absolutely right. Like it gets so preachy when you just hear, "Don't pollute, don't vote for this person, don't, you have to be accepting and inclusive of everybody." We know, we get it. Tell us, give us a good example of, maybe put us in the shoes of somebody else. Maybe if there are some sort of prejudices we might not even know we have sometimes. That's what I love about this, because you look at this society and you see these people and you're like, okay, so so in their culture, it's basically not okay to be heterosexual, so to speak. And how do I feel about this? Are we being prejudiced against their culture for not accepting their prejudices, or are they being prejudiced for not accepting us because they're two totally different things? That's one of the things I love about how they approach these issues on the Orville,
See, see other outlets, other things, they are preaching to you. You don't do this, don't do that. Be more inclusivity good. Accept people, but they're not saying, like I said, they're not showing good examples of why this is. You know what I'm saying? They are showing why, from both sides, why the Mocklins believe what they do, why Tala believes what she believes, why Lokar believes what he believes, and they are showing the end result of what happens too. They're covering every aspect of the argument too. Yeah, Joker 79, TOS, let this be your last battlefield, said racism is wrong. STD says you're racist. That's right. Yeah. And like I said, we have we had same-sex couples on the Orville. We had same-sex couples on STD. I mean, which was the better representation? The Orville.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they didn't do the stupid shit like, oh, let's kill off the gay person.
They nearly killed off Bortus with a knife to the chest.
Yeah.
That's a Mocklin divorce. The Vulcan, the Mocklin divorce. There you go. Okay, Tom, you do take some commentary for a while. I'm kind of commented out.
Well, as far as the show goes, I'm still on board. I want to see them get into a little bit more of the, how do you put it? Because I don't want to call them action adventure, because they're not, but more of the standard serialized, type shows they did in the past a little bit more. Just because we're getting too cozy in this constant, soap opera type storyline. It's getting to the point. I don't hate it. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, they need to space it out just a little bit more.
We need more Lamar and Gordon, I think.
Yeah, there's other characters that they can explore too here and there. Malloy, I love the little bit where he's talking to he's guessing the Mocklin culture. Maybe there's something they can explore. Maybe he can find out that he's maybe become a good ambassador to other cultures because he's good at figuring shit out like that. You know what I mean? He's quick on his feet. He can think quick and deduce, on the spot how to deal with, a new culture. Maybe that's his kind of thing. They can kind of go off in that storyline. Like, speaking of Lamar, they haven't really gone back to him again. What's up with him? We haven't got to see much about him since he's, we learned he's this really smart guy who can do so much more than he's let on. They haven't really gone back to him at all either. There's all these characters that we can go back and explore that we haven't, which, don't get me wrong, I love Bortus. I love the Mocklins, but too much. Too much. They need to back off just a little bit.
And that's one of the problems with Discovery is every week it's Michael Burnham. Oh my God, enough of her.
Yeah.
At least Boris is likable, though. That's the thing.
Well, we have 6 more episodes to go. So
I think this episode could have been like further on down the road. They could have done the Valentine's episode last week to kind of break up some of this. Put this one out in a few episodes.
Yeah, and I'm almost kind of getting to the point where I feel like they're going to try and get rid of Clyden at some point, it seems like. Because this episode almost felt like they were going to at one point. And I'm positive they're going to get Seth MacFarlane and What's-Her-Face together by the end of the show.
Oh, yeah, that's yeah. Yeah. That's you kind of see that coming.
But yeah, I love the show. Don't get me wrong. It's great. I just want them to do a little bit more. I mean, this episode was fine. Obviously, they didn't spend as much money on special effects and stuff like that, which is great. Do more of those so you can do more episodes. Nothing wrong with that. We didn't even need the little, simulation thing to go on that long either, but it was nice to have it to break up a little bit, but it's not like STD to where it's obnoxious.
Yeah. Eric Kelly says this season's 14 episodes, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Expect at least one more bottle episode, another bottle episode. So
I don't mind the bottle episodes, really. I mean, they at least give us interesting characters to look at.
No, and I don't want to sound like the complainer, but I want to be fair. I don't want to give this show a pass. I don't want people to think that we're just, an Orville love fest, because it does have its issues now. It's getting to the point where they're getting a little too into much of the same old thing. They need to kind of expand a little bit and move past that, or give us some more episodes like last season that they brought up in this episode, like when Lamar brings up the episode where he humped the statue, shit like that. We need a little bit more stuff like that.
Well, this was actually a very Tala-heavy episode.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole thing with Bortus and Clyde, and that was I don't want to say it was a B plot, but that was, they were part of the episode, but they weren't really the main focus.
And that's why I gave it credit. Yeah, they're moving on to the culture a little more.
You saw the Mocklin culture, but they used Bortus as a lens in which to view it through.
Right, and this other character they brought in, so at least it's not the same too. It's not just him and Clyden dealing with their issues again. And at first, I was like, "Oh God, don't make it to where now he's going to be, jealous of this guy." And Bortus, we already know, has a tendency to like to fuck. So, what's gonna I was so glad they didn't go down that road right away. It's like, oh boy, now he's going to cheat with this guy. Is this going to be the ongoing thing here? Because it's like they're really getting to the point where, and I don't want to say this, but it's true. I don't want them to keep pushing me to the point where I don't like Bortus or Clyden anymore. And I'm already getting to the point where I don't like Clyden. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a little bitchy.
Well, next week is I don't know what type. Next week looks like a very action heavy episode,
which is fine. And I don't necessarily need action per se. I just want a good story where it's where it's more than just the same old thing that we're getting kind of like they're getting too comfortable in this.
Well, it looks like next week is an episode where the Orville, is in some serious trouble. That's the thing. I don't have actually let me find the ratings for this episode. Let me see, there's some overnights.
Well, I've been actually trying to boost it where I can, where I'm like, okay, after the episode, we'll go live and talk about it. So that kind of
say this with all certainty. More people are watching the Orville in the U.S. than are watching Star Trek Discovery by at least twice as many. And that's a fucking fact. Because even though CBS comes out and said, oh, the numbers are 8 million, that's with Showtime. The best we can find, the last time they said anything that was an actual number, was 2.5 million subscribers. And let's just pretend that they've retained that many people. Now, not that many people are going to watch Discovery. Okay, so let's even be nice to them and give them 2.2 million viewers on Discovery every week. That's half of what Orville's getting on an average.
Okay, TV by the numbers. Grey's Anatomy, Mom, SWAT, all others unchanged. Thursday's final ratings. So 839. The Orville has a 0.7 rating with a 3 share. 3.07 million live audience. And that number will go up.
Well, as we've learned, their digital numbers, like last season, are almost usually more than what their live numbers are, or just on par.
Those digital numbers will push that well above 5 to somewhere around 5 or up to 5 or 6 million.
Yeah, and Angry Mr. Fibble says, didn't Gary over at Nerdrotic say STD was only getting about 100,000 viewers? Probably.
Yeah, he did.
And that's probably more accurate. This 2.5 million was back in August. What happened back in August, Rob? What starts in August? What starts?
Big Brother?
Football season.
Football and Big Brother, yes. Football more so. Okay. Now football's done and STD has started. And from what people have put together from numbers that have been thrown out in public, I think that at the last time they checked that maybe 250,000 people watch it. Maybe. And that's being generous, probably. So that's not very good. Now it gets pirated a lot. So they count that kind of shit too, though. So
well, don't forget too, you have a lot of people actually who are rooting for the Orville to fail.
Oh yeah, they are.
Let's not forget that.
Now the Orville though has an extra shield, and we brought this up before too, and that is Disney, because all of a sudden now the second season we noticed that the critics are in love with it now too.
Yeah, they're finally coming around, and like I said, it's because of that.
I think it's because it has monsters now, basically. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's Lokar. Yeah, there's Lokar. Yeah, the mantis. He's not a mantis. He's just kind of a what is he?
He's a locust.
He's a locust. Yeah, I used to love Space Ghost.
Me too.
Somebody said something about the guy who did the voice for. I gotta find it in the chat. It was way earlier.
Was Zorak?
Yeah, it just died or something like that.
Oh, he died a little while back, yeah.
Or a little while back. Oh, he did?
No. Zorak. Oh, that's sad. Andrew, a new disguise. How many watch just because it's train wreck? People like train wrecks. Well, they hate watch it.
Yeah.
In Seth we trust. Yes. Seth Trek. I want a t-shirt that says Seth Trek.
JP had one. He had like a limited edition one.
I'm still thinking about getting a Cyberfrog t-shirt and wearing it to the Captain Marvel premiere.
Don't give it money. Well, Captain Marvel keeps like the box office projections keep dropping. It's kind of hilarious. And the more she talks, the more that movie tanks.
Get what, go broke. So, like, I keep asking everybody in the chat, what do you think? Should I wear because Andre wants us to go see it, doesn't he?
Captain Marvel?
Yes.
Yes.
God, I'm probably gonna have to see it on my channel because I talk about her so much.
So, like I keep saying, we keep wondering if I should just go buy a Cyberfrog t-shirt and wear it.
Well, yeah, it might take a couple weeks to get, so yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that, go all out. I know, and not to like out you or anything. I know you're not really a Trump supporter or anything, but seriously, just wear the shirt, wear a MAGA hat, everything, and videotape it and see if anybody harasses you. Just to see.
That would be funny.
Well, don't wear the MAGA hat. Never mind. But anyway,
yeah.
let's finish talking about this, because are we going to do a regular show yet tonight, or
we can?
Well, it's getting kind of late here for me. So you guys got that time zone goodness. What?
You're in the future. Yeah, it's only 10:30 for me, so I'm going to be up until 3 or 4.
I'm well into
Friday,
tomorrow.
Rob. What do you got to do?
Well, what do I got to do?
I don't know. I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah, I know. It's not like I have a date here, you know. Jeez. Yes, you all have to see Captain Marvel, but Andre should give you hazard pay. Yes.
Well, I'm not going to ask for hazard pay on this shit, because this shit's getting to the point where it's almost abuse.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun.
Like, I'm seriously starting to feel like I'm being abused on. Well, I'm talking about Star Trek Discovery, not Orville, of course. Mm-hmm. I'd watch fucking Orville if I didn't have to.
Yeah. Orville's the fun one. Orville's the one I want to see.
Okay, let me see. Voice color panel. Okay, I'm gonna adjust some low end of my voice. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, I adjusted some. I adjusted some low end. Is that more low end?
Yeah,
so that's some fun. Is that more? I got more low end on that.
Yeah.
All about the bass. Everybody in the chat, is there a difference? Does this sound more bassy? Yes? No? Way to chime in, guys. Way to be timing.
Yes.
I hear.
Yeah, it's very much bassy.
In the chat.
Okay.
Well, yeah, they have like a 3 or 4 second delay, so
yeah, at least.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think a little longer because I think I have the DVR on. So
A new disguise says, wear a Shazam shirt.
Basie, yes.
Or Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau. Yeah. Eric Kelly says it sounds the same. Okay. Let me try a little bit more.
Actually, that would make more of a statement, and it'd be more proper for Rob because he's not that way, and he actually would see her. Oh wow, you sound.
All right, how about?
No.
How I sound really bassy now? Too bassy? Okay, back off the bass. How about now?
You should really do this shit off the air.
Now, this is live, people. We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
I need some standby music is what I need.
Technical difficulties. Wear a future is male shirt.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's wrap this up. The Orville was awesome. We love the Orville. Anybody who says that, you're gonna have to come fight us. So, but so
where are your pants?
No, wait. What? What's going on? Oh, hold on.
Good Lord, put on some pants.
Oh boy. So okay. All right, everybody. Let's wrap this up. Becca, any final thoughts?
This is Star Trek now. This is how you do Star Trek. You know, when real Trek is just bullshit and horrible, we at least have the Orville. I like it. Good episode. 7 out of 10. Just because I'm kind of a little tired of the love stuff and the Mocklins too. But I still love them.
Oh, it was really good. It was better than last week's, I think, because of last week, or not last week's, but the last episode.
Get away from me.
It could be worse. It could be worse.
What's going on over there?
Animals.
There's a story about my friend Jimmy and his Great Dane and this girl who he used to go out with. I mean, that's from here.
But anyhow,
all right, guys,
you were halfway through the season so far. It started out better than the second season. We've had a hiccup or two here or there, but I'm optimistic.
All right, okay, kids. Orville was awesome. That's all I get to say. We've talked about it all. Like I said, it's amazing how short these shows are when it's awesome. When you actually like what you're talking about. Okay. All right, everybody. Let's wrap this puppy up. Cue the music. Thanks again for joining the Orville discussion. I don't know if we're going to do another show or not. We'll have to wait and we'll surprise you. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you on the flip side.